High above the valley, where cloud clings to moss, and every trunk wears a little world of orchids, a clearing opens at dawn. Scarlet shapes rise and fall, precise, momentary, like a slow, careful dance. This is the Andean cock of the rock, a mountain scarlet dancer, gathering each morning in a place we call a lek. In that moment, we see nature's quiet wisdom. The Andean cock of the rock, or Rupicola peruvianus, lives in the cloud forests of the northern and central Andes, steep, mist-washed slopes from Venezuela and Colombia down through Ecuador, Peru, and into Bolivia. Picture a cathedral of moss and bromeliads, narrow trails of light, and a handful of flat, sunlit clearings where these birds gather. Say the name slowly with me, Andean cock of the rock, and feel the place it hints at, high, humid, and alive. Life for these birds begins in hidden spaces. Females build cup-shaped nests wedged under rocky overhangs or on cliff ledges, sometimes tucked beneath roots or thick moss. They lay a small clutch, usually 2 or 3 eggs, and take the steady, patient work of incubation on their own. The first days of a chick's life are small miracles, blind at first, warm under its mother's care, and gradually opening to a world of filtered green light. Growing up here is a lesson in learning and caution. Young birds practice balance on slick branches, test their wings in short flights, and learn what to pick from the canopy. Predators and storms shape outcomes, not with sensational violence, but as quiet pressures that favor resilience. Many young do not reach adulthood, and yet those that do carry forward the species' knowledge, how to move through mist, where fruiting trees tend to appear, which clearings make good lek sites. As adults, cock of the rock spend much of their time in the understory, hopping between perches and sampling fruit. Their diet is largely frugivorous, berries and small fruits, making them important gardeners of the forest. When a bird swallows a small fruit and later deposits the seed elsewhere, that action helps the next generation of trees to grow. So while their displays are what first capture our eyes, their quieter daily life is what quietly shapes the cloud forest itself. Now, perhaps the most famous chapter of their day, the lek. Early light draws males to a chosen clearing, where each takes a small, carefully positioned perch. The display is rigorous, dramatic body postures, rapid body shaking, wing flicks, and a repertoire of calls, low grunts that travel across the mist. Females arrive as observers, scanning these displays and choosing based on subtle cues of vigor and timing. This is about signaling and assessment, not romance in our sense, and young males learn by watching elder performers and by practicing those precise movements again and again. It's easy to be tempted to call this a dance or a performance, and yes, the colors and postures are theatrical, but the language we use matters. These displays are evolved behaviors shaped by choice dynamics and ecological context. Male flamboyance signals health and the ability to hold territory in a complex environment. Female choice guides evolutionary direction, and the lek itself becomes a concentrated place where social learning and assessment happen. Beyond the lek, these birds are part of a wider social and ecological web. They may gather in small groups outside of display seasons, and their seed dispersal activities support species of trees that other animals, monkeys, insects, even humans, depend on. Local communities often have long-standing knowledge out where these birds live and the seasonal rhythms of fruiting trees. When we mention cultural connections, we do so with humility, recognizing that stewardship often comes from people who have shared landscapes with these birds for generations. What can we do, practically, to help this story continue? First, support protected cloud forest corridors that allow birds and trees to shift with the climate. Second, favor ethically sourced footage and research. Partner with local conservation groups and licensed field recordists rather than encouraging intrusive observation at active leks. Third, if you visit these places, practice quiet, distant observation. Never approach nesting sites or disrupt gatherings. Small choices, donations to local programs, sharing verified information, and respecting guidelines add up. Before we leave the lek for today, one small pleasing fact. The male's bright crest is most vivid in display context. The flash of orange and scarlet set against green makes the signal stand out in filtered light. Outside the breeding season, plumage can appear less showy, nature's way of keeping attention where it matters most. There is a quiet poetry in that trade-off, showy now, subtle later, all tuned to life in the mountains. And so, for now, we leave the scarlet dancers as mist deepens and the day settles into its rhythm. If this ascent into a cloud forest lek brought you a moment of calm or a new curiosity about how a bird's display fits into a whole forest's life, then the climb has done its work. One bird, one story, complete peace. If you'd like to keep hearing these one-bird stories, gently told, carefully researched, please subscribe to Avian Tranquility. Share this episode with someone who appreciates quiet wonders, and consider looking into local or regional groups working to protect cloud forests. Links and resources are in the episode notes. Thank you for joining me on this slow morning among scarlet feathers. Until next time, may the soft wing beats of the mountains follow you.